Before we get into your reading, I'd like to start by thanking everyone who has liked and commented on the videos, as well as subscribed and donated to my channel. I really appreciate it, you guys. And if you'd like to book a personal reading with me, you can find all of my contact information, including my email and social media links, as well as links to my music and podcast in the description below this video. Okay, let's get into your reading. What do we have for Scorpio? Eight of Swords, Gemini energy at the foundation of the reading, Scorpio. There's an energy that I'm picking up here. Individuals who have been very focused on you failing, focused on you giving up, focused on taking dominion over you in some capacity. These energies thought it was over, thought that it was in the bag, thought that they had won. But it only took but a few seconds, Scorpio, for all of this to turn around in your favor. These energies were so invested in bringing you down that the moment that they took their eyes off you for a split second to get back to their life, they turned back around and you were gone. And in this moment, they realized that their entire reality had shifted, that they were now on an alternate timeline, a timeline where you are on the top of the wheel, a timeline where they were beneath you and underneath the heel of your boot, Scorpios. And this is exactly how the divine God, Source, had always planned for it to be. They formed many, many weapons against you, only to end up in a tomb encased by their own horrors that they had projected out into the world. And the only individual that has a key to that tomb, Scorpios, is you. What do we have at the sacral, please? I knew this was going to come out, and I literally just spoke about it. A timeline where you were on the top of the wheel, Scorpios, confirming that we are perfectly tapped into your energy. Here you are at the top of this new timeline, this cycle, by way of this divine guidance, all being narrated by your spirit guides, and these individuals representing the devil on the bottom of the wheel. Sag energy with this Wheel of Fortune. This is rags to riches energy, Scorpios. From a peasant to a king or queen energy is what I'm picking up here. I'm seeing a older woman in my mind's eye, Scorpio. Somebody who I feel can be seen as a ringleader. This particular woman was the person that was connecting other people in your life, your old friends, people you used to date, other family members, forming weapons, forming an army of individuals, telling horrendous lies about you, paying people off, whatever it took. People believed this individual because they saw her as just a sweet little old lady. But little did they know, this woman is a dark witch, a diabolical, evil, broken-minded witch. An individual that made it her life's mission to devour her own children's essence as a means to obliterate any traces that still existed between her and the family she once had. This woman woke up one day. She stepped outside her front door and looked up at the sky and sensed something was off. Something was different. This was the moment she realized that she had woken up on this alternate timeline. It's an energy of madness. She was so drunk with power that God let her think she was winning. Let her think that she was actually very powerful for what she was able to accomplish coming against you up until that very moment. This woman brought a lot of chaos into your life. Chaos and misery. That is that of legend. stories you hear about that you would never possibly ever think would be true. This woman made it her life's mission to make sure that your life was a living nightmare. She threw every demon that she could conjure up directly at you and any elevation you tried to have in your life. But what God decided to do was to stand back and allow these demons to be thrown at you, this chaos, these nightmares, this disorder, because God knew that through all of it, you would become one of his greatest warriors that has ever treaded this planet. See, you were sent here, Scorpio, incarnated into this woman's life to take her down. This is a very evil witch that I feel has traveled through many lifetimes, destroyed many, many people. So God sent you in. Her own child was going to be her karma, the one who takes her down. This could also be a father. It could also be a sibling for some of you. I just heard, for some of you out there, it's all three of them that came against you. A sibling, a mother, and a father. All of them formed weapons against you, along with other friends that were paid, exes. But all of them have been shifted onto this alternate timeline. Oh, wow. Strength, Leo. One of the greatest warriors that has ever walked across this planet is exactly right. You're able to shut the mouths of the most powerful beasts with your bare hands, Scorpios. This kind of energy. Leo, strength at the solar plexus, power. You now have dominion over these energies, Scorpios, and all you had to do was stand and march in your truth and allow God to do the rest. All of this energy they threw at you was transmuted into your superpower, the superpower that is now fueling your success. A lot of you can't believe what's happened in your life. You've woken up on an alternate timeline where you are literally on the top of the wheel and it feels like a dream. This is what it feels like to timeline jump, waking up every day and thinking your life is a dream. Wow, I finally made it. But there's always a tipping of the scales, Scorpios. I feel as though this is what you're starting to understand now. Those who were once on top when you were down low are now down low when you're on top, which is exposing to you who it always was. A balance is being brought back to the cosmos, to the collective. A recalibration is taking place, and you, Scorpio, are on the front lines. Your self-empowerment has a massive influence over this shift. It's all of you that come together in this moment of self-empowerment that allow for the collective vibration to literally shift, placing us all on this alternate timeline where we are all on top, leading the charge, bringing balance to the collective and the earth. I just heard the earth, Gaia, loves you, Scorpios. Always has. Even in your lowest of times, you always had a sense of faith, Scorpio. You just accepted where you were in those moments, that maybe that was just the hand you were dealt. That was the life cycle you were meant to run. Your faith was tested, your heart was weighed. And Scorpios, what the divine found when all this took place was a beautiful healing soul amongst heathens, that despite all of this negative energy that was thrown towards you, all the horrors that were brought into your life, you only changed for the better. It humbled you more. It turned you into a living God amongst men and women, somebody who's meant to lead, somebody who's meant to lay out a path of a life well lived, an influence, an individual that people can look to for guidance and faith. And all you have to do is live your life in your truth and in your purpose. What do we have at the heart? Wow. the Magician, Gemini, Virgo, Mercury energy at the heart. And here you are on the alternate timeline, Scorpios, having held the vision, you now standing in power, a god amongst men and women, an example, a teacher. People can now look to you as a guidebook on how this is done. It's your skill and determination, which is truly a sight to behold, Scorpios. What you've done to turn around your lives is incredibly remarkable. This is just not something that you see every day. It's that of legend. You overcame all of this energy manipulation, which was enough to wipe out villages, is what they wanted me to say. There's some sort of very ancient energy here that I'm picking up from you, Scorpios. This particular narrative has been run for many lifetimes. It just changes with the modernization of our reality. This is a cycle that's been running before technology was even a thing. I'm seeing a village in my mind's eye and all these people being wiped out by some sort of plague, the result of a witch, something like this, Scorpios. This goes really far back. I'm tapped into something incredibly ancient, Scorpios. What do we have at the throat, please? 5 of Wands. Leo energy. It's like people turning on each other, right? It's like this energy makes people turn on each other, makes people turn on you. A lot of you have been having the same pattern run over and over in your life ever since you were a child. It's like a targeted kind of energy. It's an energy that was stuck to you, Scorpios. No matter where you went, people just came against you and would all team up with each other to come after you. Heavy gang stalking kind of energy. But for some of you, again, this has been going on since you were a little kid. I'm just seeing in my mind's eye a little boy riding his bicycle to school, 5 or 6, really young. And he gets pushed off his bicycle before he makes it to school, gets beaten up by what seems to be five other boys that are much bigger, and they steal his bike. And then I see it happening again a couple weeks later. This little boy's parents didn't do anything. They just allowed him to keep riding his bike to school by himself. And then this sort of pattern followed this individual around into his older age, teenage years, 20s, 30s. No matter where he went, this energy would follow him. A curse. This is what this individual did to you, Scorpios. They put the curse of violence upon you, the curse of gang stalking. This can show up in many different ways. This is just the examples they're giving me right now. This is going to be for women as well. It's just an overall energy of people turning on you no matter where you go, Scorpios, and you being made to feel like there's something wrong with you, like you don't belong, creating obstacles and challenges for you on your path. Energy being cast out, shoved in a corner. There's also an energy here of people lying on your name as well, creating conflict with you, and then when you react, those people say it was you. And because they group up against you, you don't really have a leg to stand on, because there was always more of them than there was of you. A lot of you allowed these tactics to have this deep psychological effect on you. It's like a form of heavy gaslighting, reprogramming you to think that there's something wrong with you. I just heard, maybe it was me. Maybe there is something wrong with me. A lot of you have even said that to yourselves when you were much younger. This is the Scorpio energy. This is what we get put through. Being the 8th house of transformation, the hardest lessons, the most horrendous obstacles. But, Scorpios, being able to overcome this puts you in a very, very interesting position. Far beyond, I think, your imagination can even begin to conceive. Like I said earlier on in the reading, peasant to a king or queen kind of energy. Because you not only deserve it, Scorpio, because there's no one better for the job in whatever sector that is in your life. What do we have at the third eye? Five of Cups. Scorpio energy at the third eye. 5-5, 55. A change is coming, Scorpios. If it hasn't already, prepare yourselves. Inside of this year, your reality will shift. This time next year, you're going to look back and you're going to feel so far removed from all of these obstacles that were placed upon your path. And this is when the curse reverses. These individuals are stripped of the power that God allowed them to have while this karmic cycle played out. I just heard bait and switch. This Five of Cups at the third eye, this is how these individuals are now perceiving their reality. There's an energy of grief, loss, and regret, Scorpios. I feel as though God sat these individuals down and flashed their actions towards you, and most likely others, back at them through their mind, and I'm seeing somebody in a near catatonic state. What they saw, the reflections of themselves, was terrifying. It frightened them so badly that it shocked them into an emotionally paralyzed state that they can't break free of. Every day, they play back the horrors like a film strip in their mind, all the things they did to you from an innocent child right up into your adult age. The curse they put on you was broken, and they were stripped of their powers, reduced to nothing. Their entire reality is crumbling. They're losing everything they have, little by little, and they can't even stand on their own 2 feet and do anything about it because of the fear that's paralyzing them. What do we have at the crown? Wow. 9 of Swords at the crown. Here they are. 8 of Swords at the foundation, 9 of Swords at the crown. These individuals can't sleep, they can't work, they can't eat, they can barely breathe, Scorpios. The weight on their chest is too much to bear. Their universe is closing in on them. This person cries for mercy. I feel as though they wish it would just all end, but God is not going to allow that to happen. God wants these individuals to suffer for many years to come and watch you as you rise higher and higher and step into a success that they never would have dreamt in a million years would ever be yours. They became so drunk off their own power that they never stopped to even think, wow, what if I lose my power? Or Scorpio becomes knowledgeable about what we did to them. They never stopped to think about what would happen if everything turned around tomorrow. God constructed a reality all around these individuals, allowed the devil to play with them, play with their minds, because the devil wanted these individuals, wanted their souls. These individuals thought that they worked for the devil in some capacity, that the devil had their back. They forgot that if the devil didn't end up with you, that he would come and collect from them what was owed, even if it meant they would be stripped of everything they had ever known and believed. People who sell their soul are programmed to think that the devil will never come back and collect, that it's in the bag. This is the illusion that the devil lays out before you. The devil tricked these individuals, but this particular cycle went on for many lifetimes. This is why this particular debt that the devil is coming to collect is highly valuable. Many, many years, lifetimes have gone into this debt that is owed. What do we have at the foundation, please? What do we have at the foundation? Says it all, Scorpios. 8 of Swords stacked with 8 of Swords. The devil is coming to collect, imprison these individuals in a tomb of horrors that they had prepared for you. I just heard, Scorpios, the devil's actually very impressed with your work. See, the thing is, Scorpios, you have heart and you bring balance. You are the keeper of calibration. The devil doesn't mess with the keeper of balance. And the devil also knows that you sit at the right hand of God, a highly anointed individual who cannot be touched. Yes, God will allow these energies to come into your life because it's what wakes you up to your own power. And until you've gone through these cycles and experienced this yourself, it's very hard to compartmentalize that. How could God put me through that? Right? I get it. I understand. But once you're on the other side and you've crossed through the doorway and stepped over that threshold, you'll see how it was all necessary, because there's a sense of peace that comes over you, and you understand that it was all a part of your boot camp to wake you up to who you're to become. These individuals did so much to you in your life, Scorpios. It says on this card, can sink ships. These are the type of individuals that created wedges in all of your relationships, your jobs, all of your opportunities, but it was done behind the scenes without your knowledge. The way this all took place is incredibly detailed and diabolical in nature, but there was a lot of gross manipulation and pathological lies that were used in order to pull this off. You were made to look like you were crazy, Scorpios, by those that you once deemed closest to you, family members, people you thought loved you, only to realize that these individuals were actually your worst enemies and some of the most wicked evil that this world has ever seen. Just because it looks sweet and innocent on the surface doesn't mean there isn't a slithering beast or snake in spirit. What do we have at the sacral, please? Ooh, wow. The Tower, the Sago, right underneath that Wheel of Fortune. And the Tower from this deck is the Tower in its detriment. So it's an energy that's trying to avoid this change, trying to avoid you being on the top of the wheel. They're trying to avert a disaster. This says it all, Scorpios. You brought down the Tower, which represents the illusion. I'm seeing this older woman that I was speaking about earlier on in the reading walking down a street after she realizes that something's off, something's changed. The color of the sky even looks different. It looks its normal color, but it looks different to her, right? But then I'm seeing people point and laugh at her, throwing things at her. This street she's walking down is present day, but I'm also seeing the image flicker in my mind's eye, like old film reel. And as it's flickering, it's flashing from modern day to a village hundreds of years ago. And this woman is having tomatoes and stones thrown at her. This is all representing the energies, Scorpios. All of these stories, I'm telling you, represent the energy. This is exactly what's going on now. These individuals are going to be plucked out one by one in their communities and metaphorically stoned as they're walking down the street, going about their everyday life. What do we have at the solar plexus? Ooh. Wow. The sun, boon. This is sun in its detriment. I'm coming back to that example I gave of the woman going outside and she looks up at the sky and the hue of the sky seems a different color. It's actually the color of the sky, right? This is the kind of person that will walk outside and tell you that the sky is a different color than it actually is. Pathological liar energy. This person who creates these illusions, right? The veil's been ripped down now. But this sun is representing that. This is somebody who has a clouded perspective. They can't see their reality for what it really is because they're not used to it. They're not used to seeing things in truth. They're not used to seeing things for what they really are. They created an illusion around everything in their reality. Somebody who's living a lie. And now there's this demon that's been assigned to this individual, these individuals. This is a demon who now has dominion over these individuals, will follow them through the rest of their life to make sure that they stay in this 8 and 9 of swords for the rest of this life cycle. To make sure that this 8 and 9 of swords and this 5 of cups never lets up. This is now their destiny. This is what they wanted for you. And this is now what they get. And they get a caretaker along with it. That's them on their hands and knees, begging for mercy. What do we have at the heart, please? Oof. Wow. Andromalius, 7 of swords, Aquarius energy at the heart, Scorpios. This is an energy of being caught. It's an energy of mental challenges, energy of madness. And Scorpios, I don't want to say too much on this. I'm just going to go ahead and read what it says on the card. Despair and suicide. I will say this, Scorpios, this is what they wanted for you. They wanted you to end yourself. Period. This is what this was all about. You were a sacrifice. I'm seeing God stand back with his arms crossed, knowing you can endure everything they came up against you with. This individual even managed to have the devil raise his eyebrow. I hear the devil say, "That's not one of mine." See, this person is aimless. There was no rhyme or reason for anything they did. This is something different from evil. It's like a different kind of evil. This is the kind of person who would not only come up against God, but would come up against Lucifer, like a third entity, a third being, a third force, not of the light, not of the dark, something in between. And right as I said that, Scorpio, one of my lights went out. This particular light that I have shining down over my table has never gone out. The entire time I've been doing tarot, and it happened the moment I said what I said, something in between. Scorpios, I'm going to pause my camera and fix this light. Lights out for these individuals, Scorpios. I'm seeing a lot of gray in my mind's eye. I feel like this is speaking about this other kind of evil. It's just an energy of complete destruction. This is the kind of individual or individuals that have the mindset of destroying everything in their path and then turning around and destroying themselves. And then we have Mamma Mia, endings and rebirth, death. Scorpio, that is your energy, the phoenix rising from the ashes, endings and rebirth. Goes along with everything we've been picking up in this reading. This whole reading is another phoenix rising from the ashes moment in your life, Scorpios, but this is unlike any other you've experienced before. Everything leading up until this point has merely been a test, a tremor, practice. But now we see on this table the crossover point. You're finally able to let go and shed this energy up off you, Scorpios. Even though your life's been transforming and you've been moving on and charging forward and breaking free of this oppressing energy, there's still been residual chains, spiritually speaking, that have been keeping you tethered in some capacity. But this right here is a severing of all connections, all chains, all tethers. This is the complete transformation taking place in your life, Scorpios. What do we have at the throat, please? Nephea, the magician again. Scorpios, we have it twice now. Very powerful. The generous God. Spiritual wisdom and magic helps one gain wisdom and discover hidden secrets. All that you've been envisioning for your life, Scorpio, you are now stepping directly into. You're going to be blessed far beyond what you even envisioned. Your visions have been relatively humble, grounded. You just wanted the basic version of things because you wanted to try and make it attainable for yourself. This is the person you've become. This is why you're going to be blessed far beyond what you can ever even possibly begin to imagine for yourself, Scorpios. Whatever sector you work in, wherever you are in your life, you have an elevation available to you that will take you everywhere. Energetically speaking, God wants you to experience everything in this lifetime. You experienced all the lows, all the darkness, so now you're going to experience all the highs, all the light, all the abundance, all the happiness, all the blessings this world has to offer are now yours. You are not to be touched by any force. Moving forward, Scorpios, you are completely protected. The darkness, the devil, wouldn't even dare. Like I said, the devil's very impressed and even has respect for what you've overcome, what you've endured. Because not only have you endured this, Scorpios, you've actually come up against energies that not many, if any, have ever come up against. Like I was saying, it's like another kind of evil. What do we have at the third eye, please? Oh, wow. Hierophant, Haziel, the merciful God, divine forgiveness, obtains friendship and favors of the great, secures promises. And look, there's God and all your spirit guides, your ancestors. They're like, oh my God, good job, Scorpios. Very impressive. It's like everybody's showing up to your spiritual graduation. What you've overcome, Scorpios, is phenomenal because you didn't allow it to change you for the worse, Scorpios. It made you the best version of yourself that has ever existed on any timeline. We always hear about timeline jumping and becoming our best selves. This is you calibrating with that timeline where you are your best self. You've won the game. We spend our lifetime hopping around to all these different timelines, just trying to achieve some sort of sense of enlightenment, ascension, awaken to our higher self. You've accomplished this. You've done it. You've aligned with the best version of yourself. Or this is the energy that those of you that are just starting out on this path are being called to aim for because you have access to it. You didn't sell your soul. You didn't conform, Scorpios. No matter how bad it got, you never sold out. We live in a world that's full of people that conform to the evil. They sell out. They get desperate. They get scared. We see it everywhere. Look around you, Scorpios. How many people have sold out, sold themselves out? We see this more than ever, I feel, post-pandemic. People became so desperate to make a buck. You see people doing anything now, especially online. It's wild, the things that people do, just to get attention and try and support themselves. They have no heart. The high vibrational awoken Scorpio collective is few and far between. It's a rare kind of energy. We see shadow Scorpio energy all over the place, just like any other zodiac sign, but a truly awoken Scorpio, somebody who has walked this path, is rare. What do we have at the crown? Seven of Wands to close out the reading. Re-I-L, Leo energy, the expected God, liberation, deliverance from enemies both visible and invisible. Oh, Just got the chills, Scorpio. It's over. This is you exercising this courage, Scorpios, overcoming these obstacles and difficulties in your life, and having the courage to meet whatever comes your way face to face without fear because of the path you have walked. There is no evil that can ever match the evil that you have defeated. Through all this, you kept your integrity intact, and because of this, you're going to be blessed with never-ending good fortune for the rest of your days in this life cycle, however that shows up for you and your current set of circumstances or the energies you're moving towards. Scorpios, I'm going to leave this reading here as there's nothing more I can possibly add to this adventure that we just went on together. I can only hope that there's some messages amongst all of this that can help support you on your path and shed a light on the darkness if you're feeling lost. Scorpio, this is the energy that's available to you depending on where you are on this timeline, should you choose to accept. I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you would like a personal reading, all of my contact details can be found in the description below this video. And thank you for your donation, Scorpios. Take care.